what evil lurks in the hearts of men. The shadow knows.
Hey everyone, how are you doing out there? All righty. Let's see who all's in here and do a little roll call here. I'm waiting for a couple people to get invited up here to come up here. Haven't got sent them all the link, so not sure if they're going to show up here or not on time. Alrighty, so first one in here, Rustic Traditions Homestead. And then Cecilia Jensen, then Jehoiadak Maccabeus Off Grid and Everyday Survival. Courtney at Wide Family Farm. Keith Kronk. And Lisa Lee, scrolling on down here. Homestead Engraving, Business and Life. It's Sarah from Minnesota. Howie says I'm being rated. All right. So Howie at Food Forest Permaculture. Michael 58. Allie Oakley. Hey, welcome Raiders. Come on in. Nixon's Nonsense. All right. Mama Z's Texas Kitchen. Tim's World. Tara's Crazy Life. Okay, we're caught up here. Give it a couple minutes. I was expecting Willett just in time prepping to be in here. And as well, also waiting for Uncle Al at Die Bullfrog 79 to show up here. Grizz 270. All right. All righty. Okay. Marie's Vegetable Garden also is joining us. Okay, I was hoping to have a couple other panel members up here so I could have other people to bounce off of and come up with ideas. So tonight's topic, right there on the screen, top 5 items to salvage in the end of the world as we know it. All right, so one of the things to consider for this, what do we got here? Who else? Scott King just came in here. And so a couple of things here, there's a couple of called ground truths that we use in disaster exercises. Talk about, okay, the rain, it's going to be raining or it's not going to be raining during the exercise, whatever. So here's some of the ground truths here. All right. This event there is no government and no sign of local government either. Whatever has caused it, whether it was a EMP, mass super pandemic that took out 2/3 of the population, super volcanoes going off, whatever it is, has caused that, there is no government structure anymore. There is not going to be any quick recovery. It's going to be at least 10 plus years before a real government is established again. Bonus, the riots haven't started yet. Basically, and the internet and it's going to be, you got a day or 3 before the riots really start. Internet is down, no phones, etc. Most people are hiding, and they're not coming out of their homes because they're afraid to come out of their homes right now. So with that in mind, guys, start thinking about this. What are the top 5 items you need to go salvage while you can? Now, when I said that there's no phones or internet, ham radio is still working. So if you have a ham radio, you communicate and find some stuff. All right. And while you're thinking, I'm going to list off my 5 items, and I've been juggling this around trying to figure out which 5 items are going to be the biggest. So number 1 item to salvage as much as I can of is garden seeds. All right. So wherever I have to go to get it, to gather up all the garden seeds I can, which means hitting Home Depot, Lowe's, the grain mill, Cal Ranch, the Tractor Supply store, Walmart, even hit them all up, clean out their seed supply. Second thing I think I would need to salvage in a Tawaki situation is going to be a couple of diesel fuel tanker trailers. Ones that go to the gas stations and fill up the diesel and stuff. I may pick up a gasoline one as well, but I want a couple diesel ones. Good point there, Jehoadak. Boom. Throw that up there. Trains that have stopped on the tracks. Good one to hit up. Brian says, guns, ammo, seeds, water, food. All right, he's got his 5. Courtney has seed and gardening supplies. Howie agrees on the garden seeds. Try to buy garden seeds now. So many places are sold out. What was interesting, I actually went up to Cal Ranch it's been about 12 days, 10 days ago. Yeah, 10 days ago. And I was able to get a 5-pound bag of corn, seed corn, and I got that planted out there. And one of my videos that'll be coming up here on it shows how some of the corn already is like that tall. Okay, not hijacking. The big word right here. Salvage. We're going by the law of the ocean. Everything is up for salvaging. However, if someone else lays claim to it, hey, it's hands off. They've already laid claim to it. So it's first one to lay claims to it gets it. Iron Dog 73, welcome. Mr. Mach 1. Hey, how you guys are welcome here. All right, Tim Wood, he lives next to railroad tracks. Hit the trains for sure. All right. So my number 1 was garden seeds. Number 2 is a couple fuel tank trailers, diesel fuel. May grab a gasoline one. that gets a little dangerous because gasoline can be set off a lot easier than diesel fuel can. Number 3 is a rubber tired articulating steering loader like a Cat 966, something big with bucket forks on it, so you can lift stuff up and take it. Number 4 is going to be I'm going to raid the Bobcat store and get a T740 or the equivalent track loader, not the rubber tired skid steers, but the little track loader, 75 horsepower, and all the attachments for it, the rototiller attachment for it, the clamshell bucket, all that great stuff. Get a bunch of all that stuff, all the attachments for it. Number 5, and 5th one is all the solar panels I can salvage, along with their batteries. And we're jumping fast here. Okay, so Kaylin lives several blocks from ethnic grocery stores. She would liberate the spices and seasonings that most people would probably blow off. Milk crates and other hard crates. Good thoughts. Sorry, bang. Keep bouncing here. Okay, there we go. Is that salvage? I want a tank. Are you talking a battle tank? Or are you talking about some other sort of liquid or air tank, Courtney? Yeah, Will, just in time prepping on his earlier show today, we were talking, he said he was going to be here, but I have a feeling his nap went a little long. I know I sent him the link to it. So hopefully Uncle Al's just replied on something. So he's on his computer. Uncle Al should be in here shortly, I hope. So what else do we have here? Battle tank. Yeah, okay. Now you're going to go for the M1 Abrams that can do 65 miles an hour across anywhere, but it sucks down fuel like a kid sucking down a milkshake. There we go. Okay, yeah, Brian. Now that's why I say it on the ground truths that the riots haven't started and most everybody's still in hiding. So you got a day or two before, to be quick and grab stuff, or I should say, be quick and salvage stuff and get back to your wherever it is that you're at. Allie, that might not be a bad idea because they ain't going to be making any more. So anything you can find might be worth saving. Okay. There's a good one. Salvaging a better quality truck wouldn't be a bad idea. Yeah, something like a Ford 550 or a 650 4-wheel drive crew cab would be very nice. All right. Most likely the military has disbanded basically or they're holed up on their bases right now because basically the government is no more. This is a major end of the world as we know it situation. We've had a mass coronal ejection, which has caused a super EMP and taken out just about everything electronic, or some other, like several super volcanoes going off. basically, there is not going to be any government restored for at least 10 years. Let's see what else we got here in comments. Keeping up on everybody's comment here. Ah, fabric. Now, there's some debate over fabric on some of the different ones, whether, oh, well, some people say, well, just wait for the die off, because after the first winter, there's going to be mass die off, and you're going to be left with only 10% of the population. And you can just go around to any houses and, get stuff or go to the stores because clothes are not something everybody's going to be taking. But you never can tell what's going to happen. Bingo. There's a good one right there. All right, Caitlin has go for an adult trike. All right, good ideas there, Caitlin. It would, Nixon's nonsense. It depends on what actually caused it. Now, if it was a EMP, yeah, some of the newer skid steers and vehicles would require a computer chip, might be taken out. It also depends too if it was an EMP, but the some of the skid steers were in the metal building in the shop or whatever, being prepped for sale, and the metal buildings can, to some extent, act as a Faraday cage, as well as all the metal on the skid steer itself would help deflect EMP charge. And got a question here. Okay, so canning supplies. Yes, that's something else. That's a good something else to pick up if you don't have it already. All right. Would EMP that would kill? All right. It all depends on the severity of the EMP and the type of EMP it is, whether or not it's going to take out coils or not. Some electric motors would not be affected at all. Only electronics would be affected. In fact, a lot of the government's EMP-proof radio stuff has tubes. They kept the old stuff, and they've have everything stashed for that to run old type radios. Yeah, anything trying to think when they started putting computer crap in cars and stuff. I know our 71 station wagon we had no computer parts in it. Ah, here's something. Tooth care stuff, temporary fillings, clove oil, fish mocks, good stuff. Cecilia says bicycles for transportation, tagging off of Kaylin's trike. Yeah, there is a lot of different things. All right, I know that Will earlier was talking about one of the first things he would go after would be a generator that runs on propane, and then he would get a one of those big propane semi rigs with the trailer, and get a couple of those propane trailers, so he'd have years supply of propane to run his generator. Hey, Teresa. All righty. Okay. Ah, thanks, Homestead Engraving Business Life. All right. So let's see what we got here. Yeah. My father-in-law um, gave me his old 2-meter Heathkit ham radio, which had no solid state circuitry in it. It was an all tube version stuff. That one of the ones he built when he was a kid. So, tubes, radio tubes, and television tubes and stuff like that. The old stuff is 99% more bulletproof from EMPs than other stuff. Like I said, it could be some other reason that caused the end of the world as we know it. It could have been a super plague. Speaking of which, I've been watching some replays here. I found old TV show from '97 called 7 Days. I don't know if anybody remembers 7 Days with Jonathan. I can't pronounce his last name now. Basically, the theory behind it is they were able to create a space, time, gravity distortion ship that was based on the Roswell crashed spaceship. But all they can do is they can send a person back 7 days, a maximum of 7 days as far as they can send them back in time. And so goes back and fixes things that happen. Well, one of the shows was some disgruntled employee of a laboratory took some samples of a super toxin virus thing and released it at an airport, and it spread worldwide in 1 day, and it took out 98% of the world population. All right, let's see. We have I like where you're going. Maybe a few tons of sugar. Hey, you can always trade it off to somebody else that doesn't have it. Yep, it could be that. It could be several super volcanoes going off. It could be a polar flip, which caused played havoc with everything, and even caused the plates on the Earth to shift, caused massive tidal waves and everything else. Could be anything that could have caused it, but basically there is no government, no the local government. Everybody's just sort of gone into hiding. What do we got here? Rubbing alcohol. Oh, you mean like Everclear that you can use for municipal or other purposes? All right, here. What else? Other people ideas we have here coming up on the side here. Yeah. And that's one thing to consider too, is we may be going back to the 1700s, 1800s lifestyle for a lot of stuff. Granted, we will still have a lot of 21st century stuff and 20th century stuff, but when something breaks, it's, unless you know somebody or someone has the skills to repair it or remanufacture it, that's it. All right, there's some good stuff there. Hand tools, axes, saws, knives, etc., etc. Medicines, fire starters, books, water cleaners. All right, Howie. Don't worry. I won't be heading up to your bunker. Exactly, Jehoiadak. How many of you have seen the movie The Postman with Kevin Costner? That's the kind of stuff we're looking at. David's Mule Train Homestead. Welcome. Good to see you in here. One of the other things I know that Will had mentioned earlier today when we were talking, that he wanted besides the propane generator and some big huge trailer tanks of propane, he was talking about some other medical supplies from like a medical warehouse where they would have the oxygen generators and the CPAP machines and stuff like that. So there's going to be, there's going to be plenty of people that are going to need other. You're going to need, like, oxygen tanks. They can't get it. They're going to need oxygen generators to survive. Okay. All right, what do we got here? All right, I have Tim's Worlds has the Firefox books. That's one set of books I haven't gotten. I know Martha at Old School Prepper has a complete set of those as well, and some other stuff. But what I do have is the Anarchist Cookbook, volumes 1, 2, and 3 of the CIA Black Books, and some other interesting books. I have, I've been doing emergency preparedness since 1971. I got books upon books upon books of stuff stored up. Plus, lately I've been downloading all sorts of technical specs and everything, the PDFs I can find onto terabyte hard drives, portables, some of which are inside metal cans. Oh, there we go. Yes. Don't forget other medical devices such as stethoscopes, blood pressure cuffs, and stuff. All right, we're getting some good ideas here, spreading it around. So, but so you hit your top 5 things first day. What do you do day 2? You go after the other stuff. You start, salvaging other things. But you need to. One of the things here, why I wanted to do this particular live stream is to get people thinking of make a list. It doesn't take too much of your time to make a list and write stuff down. Oh, Dave, not good. Shoulder injury. Ouch. Well, you take care, Dave, and everyone keep Dave at Southern Ohio Prepping. And he also runs his son's channel is Charles, 64th Scale Fun. They do race. His son Charles races the little Hot Wheel cars and stuff. The number one book I would recommend. Oof, geez. Take all the books I have and limit them down. Let me think on that one for a second. If I was to take a single book, not a series of books, but a single book. Okay. Yes. Give me a second here, and I'm going to throw it up for you guys here so everybody can see it. Yeah, I got to go here to pull it up here. See more. I'm pulling it up here so everybody can see it here. I have it in here. Come on, where is it? Where is it? There it is. All right, let me throw this over here. All right, the Survival Medicine Handbook by Joe Alton and Amy Alton. Joe Alton is an MD and Amy is a ARNP as well as a midwife. They have several books that they've written, but this is probably their most comprehensive book, Survival Medicine Handbook. They sent one to Dave at Southern Ohio Prepping, and that book is thick. Let's see here if I can bring up there. Here's the other books they have available. So they got the Survival Medicine Handbook. This is the big one. This is the small version. It's the Kindle version. I have the Kindle version. It doesn't have everything the big one has. They have okay. They said, no, I got this Kindle one. Sorry, I got this Kindle one here. I need to go pick up that one now. Their newest book just came out is the Pandemic Preparedness Guide, and they sent me a copy of that. So I have a copy of that one already as well. So I got two of their books. I'm going to have to pick up this one here. Yeah. And what I like about the Kindle version, guys, I can send it to all of my devices, a copy to all my devices, share it with my wife and her devices, and my kids because they're on our family plan, so I can share it to all of them. So, yeah, and Howie, Joseph, where did they get over here? Yeah, Joseph Alton is great. His books here. I would probably say the Survival Medicine Handbook is the one book to get if you are only going to get one book. Now, all right. So Kaylin has it. Yeah, it is thick. It is comprehensive. It's not written over your head. It's written to the average person. Okay, let's scroll back up here and see what I missed here. Oh, cool. Dave should be able to be back on the lives next week. All right, good point there. The second day depends if you're planning on being in the city or in the country area to, yeah. So it all depends what you're going to be doing too. If you have a vehicle that's running, are you going to be spending that second day getting out of Dodge? Or are you going to, or you try to get out Dodge the first day and stop at places and hit 5 places on the way out of town? Something else to consider. Need to make sure you have a plan for whatever type of disaster you're looking at. Let's see here. Scroll down here. Need a okay. Yeah. So in the meantime, beforehand, thrift stores, flea markets, great places to pick up prepping items. And remember, camping equipment makes great prepping equipment. Yeah, the antibiotics books has other information than the survival medicine guide one. It lists all the types of antibiotics that you can use because they come in the same dose and from the same manufacturer as regular human stuff. Like you get the fish mocks and some of the other ones. He lists which ones you can use and which ones you don't want to use. Yeah, the problem with, I agree, hard copies of certain books are essentials, but the number of books, if I had them in hard copy, they would the ones I have on electronic versions would probably fill up the back of my pickup full. So whereas I can, I got a bunch of my Kindle Fire, and what I got on my the terabyte hard drives I have. I can throw those in my jacket pockets and carry those off and hook them up and run them later. Yes, good points, Cecilia. You also need to think about things, not a deck of cards or other stuff type, games and stuff to keep you sane. We did I think it was it's been about 6 weeks ago. We did on one of the live streams. We talked about cabin fever and how to survive it. Being under shelter in place, and how to keep everyone in your family from stressing out and losing it. Ooh, that was a killer deal. Yeah, I'm on a real great internet service here called Sparklight, which they bought out Cable One, and when they bought it out, the service just went downhill. So it depends on how the Kindles are stored. So if you keep one Kindle in like a gun safe or in a Faraday cage or a Faraday bag, it'll be fine. You take it out just to update all the books on it and stuff, and put it away. Or if you have some of the terabyte hard drives and an old laptop, and you have everything on PDF, so you can view it on just about anything. You can save a lot of information to have it actually EMP proof. All right. Local library. I don't think very many people are going to be hitting the local library. Good call, Kaylin. Very good call. Right, Brian. But there are certain things that people can't afford right now. It's like, I would love to get that Bobcat T740, but it's $71,000 just for the base machine with a 80-inch bucket on it. And you start adding on the rotavator, which is another $6,000, and then you add on the extra, the post hole diggers and the other stuff you're going to need. Yeah, it starts adding up, and right now, it's something we can't afford. But yeah, speaking of Vertibet, I'm not sure how well a Mylar bag will work on it, because I know they use those Mylar bags stuff around electronics, but that's for static shock. It might work for a mild EMP, but if you get hit with a good hard one, they won't keep it out. The EMP bags that you can get, Minuteman Prep has, let's see if I can bring him up here real quick. And he runs, come on, I'm not looking for it. Sorry, guys. Power Portable Solar is his company. That's Ben Gilmore. I know him. I've known him for several years. I've known him before I was on YouTube. We've worked emergency preparedness fairs and stuff like that. Come on, that's not bringing me straight to it. All right. All right, let me see if I can find it elsewhere here, and I can show you guys what he has here. OW power. Solar errors. Make sure that's his. Here we go. Yeah. All right. Boom. There we go. This is his website. Powered Portable Solar. And there is the link. Throwing it in there. If I go to shop, and he sells the the kits and stuff, but he sells with the kits, and each one of the kits, you notice he's got the EMP bags, and he sells the EMP bags, Faraday bags as well. These ones that he sells are the super duty, heavy duty, beyond military grade bags, and he carries everything you need for solar power and everything else. Yeah, there are a lot of videos on how to make your own Faraday cage. The one thing to make sure of is that depending on what you're expecting your Faraday cage to do, you got to make sure it's something that can seal, so because basically the electromagnetic pulse produces electricity that travels over the surface of metal, and some of them, how do I put this? The original Faraday cages were like screen mesh, and the static electricity particle and the EMP stuff would bounce around the outside. Well, some of the new ones that electromagnetic pulse weapons that they have designed are so strong that it doesn't just skim across a wire mesh; it goes through it. They were doing a test, and they had the cameras in the wire mesh Faraday cages, and it took out the cameras. You could see on the video that it took out the computers and everything in the room, and then the cameras went down as well. A lot of people make them out of like those ammo boxes. The thing you got to make sure of is that rubber gasket, if there's any gap in it, that's a weak spot. But there are a lot of different ways. Also, you got to make sure that the inside is lined with some sort of rubber or non-conductive material, because they have discovered in doing their testing and stuff that sometimes even though it's on metal, a solid metal box, the inside surface will for somehow the way the physics works, it causes electrical current to develop on the other side of the metal as well. Good information, Jehodak. All right, Cecilia's going back to putting a mule on a treadmill or on a turn thing to do it. But yeah, mules, horses, different things you do. Water wheels, other ways you make power. But the popcorn can will be next to it. All right. All right, here's some good information. Survival Lily did that. She showed how to take the rubber gasket seal out of the lid. She put a foil in the gasket channel to replace the rubber seal. What's my thought on EMP shield? They claim they're listed in their ad talks about them being listed in the DHS thing. It's lit there. Yeah, they're listed in there now under the not recommended or not recognized. It's the not endorsed section. And you look at their stuff and the way it has it. There's looking at just from an electrical engineer standpoint, the way they have stuff hooked up for your power on the house, you hook it up to 2 of the breakers and stuff, and it's like that's not going to protect. It's just going to bypass that, and it's going to take everything else out in your house. So the one for your house, looking at it, there's no way it can work. And the wire that has little bitty wires going into like 14 gauge wires coming off of it. Electromagnetic. Hey, Kathy's here. North Star Prep Center. An EMP generated electrical current will melt. Depending on how strong, but it'll melt heavy duty wire and stuff. You think back to the Kerrigan effect. They had the telegraph stations, and they built stuff more robust back then. They were catching fire and melting down, and from that. So if we have a similar type one here, EMP shield is not going to do anything. And to me, it's not worth it. And the thing is, you can't go back to the company after an EMP hits, because guess what? They'll be out of business and gone. All right, what else we got here? All right, hang on. There is a video series on here on how they lived in World War II, graduates for prepping. Yeah, historical documents on stuff and information is great. In World War II, when we were rationing gasoline, guess what most of the farmers were doing? They were building gasifiers and running their tractors off of gasifiers. So remember, right now, there you make a long list of everything you're going to need to get over time. You put mark on that list things that you can afford to buy. On that list, you also need to mark stuff that you cannot afford, but in a total world without the rule of law, a Tawaki situation, major long-term SHTF, total collapse of society, whatever you want to call it, where it's going to be 10 years before anything comes back up, or as far as semblance of government and stuff, things that you're going to need to go out and salvage. Because you can say, oh, that's stealing, I can't go do that. And I look at it, okay, if nobody goes out and gets this thing, it's just going to sit there and rust, fall apart, and it's useless. If nobody's using it and it's no longer claimed by anybody, it's up for salvage. Now, jumping back quickly to Jehoiadak asked about EMP shield. The best thing you do as far as vehicles go for EMP, get an old one, a 1960s vehicle. I'm still kicking myself when years back when I had to get rid of the 1965 Dodge Power Wagon 1-ton I had. Granted, it was only a 2-seater, but it was a beast. But with what was going on, I had no place to put it. My mom had the property. Anyway, she lost the property and everything else due to a real estate deal my sister got her involved in. But that's neither here nor there. The fact is, I had to get rid of that truck. I would love to have that truck because I'd be fixing it up as my survival truck to haul trailer, everything in a trailer. Ooh, Kathy strikes again. Everybody, check it out. There's a good link to go. She has a couple of links there. That one and this one. Yeah, if somebody throws something out and you realize how that it still has a lot of use, or somebody abandons something, that's up for salvage. Bingo! Lisa Lee struck gold. Windows and lumber from abandoned buildings. Hey, you can take a bunch of windows and make a greenhouse. In fact, I'm trying to remember who did it. Maybe Kathy remembers. Someone went and built a greenhouse out of wooden window frames. They had, several different sizes, but it had a bunch of one size, a bunch of other size, and they did it. I'm trying to remember who did it, who built the greenhouse. Anthony, Pimento prepared. Guys, if you don't know Pimento prepared, Anthony, great resource, great channel. I watch all of his videos. There we go. Good point there. Also, don't forget construction sites that get abandoned. Because if they have a bunch of lumber sitting there and everybody abandoned it, it's gone, and everybody's heading for the hills. Hey, it's up for grabs. Same thing. They have window panes and stuff that that you can get there as well. All right. Let's see here. I'm trying to read everything. Yep. Oh, that's something else to think of too. Paint, guys. At some point, you may want to think about salvaging paint, cans of paint. Yeah, every now and then I've seen stuff out people put out there for free. Actually, somebody a couple blocks from my house in California put out a couple propane tanks and put a sign on it, free. I just happened to be driving by, checking out someone else. So I pulled over, grabbed them. Yeah, they were empty. Took them up to Home Depot where they have the tank exchange. I just exchanged it and got newer tanks and with propane in them. Yeah, abandoned construction sites can be a wealth of supplies. So, yeah. So, like I said again, I'm going to say it here one more time. Make a list. It doesn't hurt to write things down. And what's neat, you can write it all down, and then you take an Excel spreadsheet, type it into the spreadsheet, give everything a value number, as you can change it around, and then you can sort it by the value number you give it. So number one's on top, and it goes down. And then if you decide later on, oh, well, I want to give this one a higher number than that one, you just type the new number in there, resort it, and boom, there you go. It gives you a accurate, up-to-date list anytime you want it. And that takes it to the next level here. Homesteading, engraving, and business life. Once you have stuff, you're going to want to hide it. And that's one of the things I said on my stuff, that my, number one item was gathering seeds, going around, picking up all the garden seeds I could from all the different places, nurseries, Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever they got those big old displays of seed, just, salvaging that. But the next thing was a diesel fuel tank trailers. Yeah, you're gonna want to hide those once you have those on your property. So camel netting, whatever you're gonna do to hide it. Yes, some states are good on this, and back in California, the Contra Costa County hazmat runs a reclamation center where you can drop off all your toxics and unused herbicides, fluorescent bulbs, paint, all sorts of motor oil, that stuff. The cans of paint, if the cans of paint are still in good shape, they put it out in the special little display where you can go in there and you just sign out how many you're taking, how many items you're taking from there. I used to get a lot of paint there. I'd get the grays and blacks and stuff, and mix them up and use them in our haunted house to paint all the materials in our haunted house. But I've also picked up a couple of plastic gas cans for free that someone just wanted to get rid of the gas cans. And I picked up a couple of those there as well. Exactly, Anthony. Well, in a Tawaki situation, into the world as we know it, or a rule about the world of law, if it's abandoned, if it's been out there and you see it out there two days, second day it's up for grabs. Yeah. And that's where timing comes in. Let's go back to let me change this back to the ground truths. So basically riots haven't started and most everybody's hiding. So you got a day or three to get out there and do your salvaging before you hunker down. So yeah, so that's something you want to, you consider things, and communications is very important. That's what I said. If you have ham radio gear, it's still working. So you can listen to what's going on around the world. You can talk to other people in town, across the state, wherever, to find out what's going on. And when it's like, okay, it's going to start getting ugly. It's getting ugly on the other side of town. It's time for me to pull back and lock down. Oh, that's an idea. Yeah, some of those tall, office building plants they have in the lobbies and stuff that are really tall and bushy and stuff. That'd be good for that. All right. Anthony's doing pressure canning. Anthony, do I feel a video coming out on pressure canning? Okay, let's see here. And that's why I said this is all salvage stuff. if somebody lays claim to it, hey, it's hands off for you guys. All right. Someone's already claimed it, fine. But if nobody's claiming it and it's out there, you salvage it. And that's why I use this picture here, because anytime a ship sinks, first one to it claims salvage rights. And that's the way it's going to be. And it's going to be looked at a lot by most honest people afterwards, that the first one gets to it gets salvage rights. Another item to look for to salvage: rechargeable batteries. Okay, so Anthony already did one on pressure canning, doesn't want to be too redundant. All right. Okay. Jehoiad's thinking outside the box. Security devices, extra cameras, alarms, motion detectors, etc. And what's interesting, here's something interesting that works really good. It's a passive, offensive security device. They have these sprinkler heads, battery-powered sprinkler heads, that's hooked up to a hose that is under pressure and has a motion sensor on it. So when a possum or a raccoon or something comes out in the garden, it turns on and starts spraying the whole area. Put some of those around your house. You have your you have a well, you have your pump, you have it hooked up. Someone comes snooping around your place, they get sprayed with water. It's like they're soaking wet. You know, most people are going to leave. And that's one of the things, you like I mentioned, you got only a day or two to grab stuff because everybody's freaking out, everybody's hiding, and they're going to start coming out in a day or three. So you got a short amount of time to get your top 5 things. Okay. Yep, because you don't want unwanted pregnancies at the beginning of a Tawaki or SHTF event that's going to last for years. Copper that can be used to make a still, because what you cook up in a still can be used for municipal purposes, can be used as alcohol for an alcohol stove, or the old-fashioned Coleman stoves where you pumped up the fuel to get it to go through it. Can also be used for making motor fuel. Okay, what are we missing here? Okay, solar charge, yeah. And something else, to check on is get solar powered chargers for some of the stuff that you're for the batteries and stuff. Okay, I'm going to take this to the next level, Kaylin. If you have setting up a system with a motion sensor sprinkler on it, you can get little vials of essence of Pepe Le Pew, skunk's musk, and you put some of that in, so when it comes on, it sprays it, and you nail the intruder with that. Most of them are probably going to be thinking that the sprinkler system came on or something happened like that, and they're just going to want to get out of there and get changed of clothes. But yeah, like I say, if they're hardcore and they keep coming, then you hose them down with something else. CR, hey CR, creative redundancy from north of the border. Yeah, disguise your security systems. Yeah. A lot of these ones that they have for the gardens look like a crow or something like that. So it is kind of disguised. Yeah, especially the schools that have cafeterias and stuff. Yeah, it's another good place to stuff to place to go looking for items to salvage. Now, in a major situation like we're talking about, some of the problems that are going to pop up: lack of food for the masses, electricity power plants. If they weren't down before, they will be going down because nobody's going to stay there on the job to run them. They're going to be trying to stay home to protect their family. Water treatment plants are going to be going down. Sewer treatment plants are going to be going down. There is unfortunately going to be what's known as a die-off, and that's going to happen during the first winter. And during the first winter, you're going to lose, according to the experts that do statistician stuff, you're going to lose anywhere from 65 to 95% of the population in the United States, in major cities. Now, you get out of the major cities to the rural areas where everybody has wood-burning stoves, they grow their own food. That die-off is going to be a lot less because they're already surviving off the land. So if you're in a city and you're on the sewer system, it's going to be kind of hard to do alternative sewage system. I just did a live stream. Was it last Friday we did it, or was it last Tuesday? Not this Tuesday this week, but Tuesday last week. We were talking about sanitation, and we were talking about sewer, water, all sorts of sanitation. So we covered a lot of the alternative sewage system stuff on that live stream. We talked about camp toilets, camp showers, alternative shower heating, the propane shower heaters for camping and stuff, things you can use in this type situation or you're worried about your sewage system. All righty. Let's see what else we got here. Plumbing supplies. Yes. All right. There we go. Anthony. Yeah. All right. So Anthony's thinking for the on the 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months thing of the water, food, and shelter survival stuff. So, yeah. If you don't have a source of water, that's something to look into. And let me check. Actually, I have coming up here on Tactical Tuesday let's bring it up here. Oh, wrong list. There we go. So on June 30th, the Tactical Tuesday, we're going to talk about shallow well, putting in a shallow well. So that's coming up on there. I don't want that one up there. Sorry, get back to this. Okay, there we go. Oh, yeah. Great thought, Anthony. Museums. I'm not sure someone mentioned that, but yeah. Museums, and top of my tongue here. living museums where they actually they do demonstrations and stuff. I know that in several states have places where they demonstrate old woodworking techniques. They even have where they have the show the how to plow, the old type horse-drawn plow and stuff like that. Salvage PVC, not really. Anthony talked about plumbing supplies, but PVC in general. It's its first test in March. Got its first test in. Cool. Hand pump, yes. And there, Michelle, there is several videos out there on how to make a hand pump out of PVC. And there's a company, hang on here, get the business card here. Got a bunch of business cards from these guys. Not nice. Apocalypse well pumps. I'll show you guys can see this. Apocalypse well pumps. He's over in, I believe he's in Montana, and it's www.apocalypsewellpumps.com. And he makes and sells PVC hand pumps for emergencies and general use. Let's see what we got here. Yeah. Anvils and coal forges will be great. Anvils especially, and coal forges are just for farriers, for making horseshoes and stuff, because horses will be making a comeback. Yes, the living history farms. Yes, that's what I was thinking about. Let's see here. I'm trying to catch all the stuff here. Yeah, that's the problem with the adhesives for PVC in general. They only last so long. They naturally leak. You know, the solvent in it vaporizes out of them, especially once you crack them open. Firefox Museum is 30 miles from Mary Beth Smith. Cool. Thank you, Kathy. Oh, there it is. Put it up there. Yeah, check these guys out. If you're smart and ingenuity wise, like Anthony or Reed, you guys would be able to after seeing what he has there, be able to build it on your own. All right, Hallie, have a good night. It's been great here. You had a great live stream earlier too. Yeah, I've driven over Donner Pass. I don't know how many times, and I've stopped in there a couple times. And yeah, I've read books on it. It is very shakes you to your core. All right, I was waiting for somebody to bring this up. PEX pipe shark bite fittings, no solvent needed. And they also have SharkBite has adapter fittings that actually slip onto PVC, copper pipe, PEX, iron pipe. So they got a bunch of different ones. If you're at the hardware store near you has it, you can make just about any repair with the SharkBite fittings. The Donner Museum. It's in California on Highway 80, just outside of Truckee, which puts it about, I think it's about, you put it within 30 miles of the Nevada state border. Yeah, so I've been getting a lot of notes. I've been making notes here on what you guys have been saying as well, too. So don't be afraid to revise your lists of your top 5 items and or whatever else. But yeah, there's a lot of good information on here of things to think about getting and to list of stuff to get later afterwards that you can't afford to get now. Yeah, Truckee is a real nice area up there. Get off of 80, go down to Truckee, and you turn right instead of left to go into Truckee. You turn right, it takes you over to Lake Tahoe. Good idea, Cecilia. The ancient Egyptians used mirrors to get light down into the pyramids. Pressure canner, yes. And in fact, let me throw this up here real quick. Gardening. Canning. All right, y'all get a peek at my one of my wish lists from Amazon. Ooh, it dropped 4%. Basically, it dropped 20 bucks on the All-American 41.5 quart pressure canner. Ooh. Dehydrators. Different versions, suppliers, water bath canners, canning machine. Yeah, I guess all my this one is just my canning line. So I got one for health, I got one for gardening, got one for farming, cooking, tractor stuff. So I got wish lists for everything. Yeah. I have I don't know how many. I have to check when next time I go back to California. I'm bringing my mom's canning stuff that she left me. She's got left me a boatload of boxes upon boxes of canning jars, and a bunch of those canning jars are half-gallon canning jars. That's why I want the bigger pressure canner, so I can can stuff in the half-gallon jars. Canning lids, more lids. Canning. Yeah. My wish list. No, what I have another wish list for finding the winning lottery ticket. Idaho has a great lottery that it's the winner gets $1,000 a day for life. That's a nice one. So basically, you get $360,000 a year. for life. If I find that winning ticket, I'm probably going to have my youngest son come up here. He's 20, and have him claim it, because he's going to live 30 years longer than I'm around. So that way they can have a inheritance. Definitely new lids. And that's something else to check at thrift stores and stuff. Someone may be getting rid of, someone may have passed away, and the kids don't want to do the canning, and so they take this, or they take the stuff and they donate to a thrift store. How many half-gallon, was that just a single half-gallon jar, or was that a 6-pack? Because our Walmart had the 6-pack, and I believe it was $19 for the 6-pack. Trying to figure out. Sorry, bounced around here. Where'd it go? There we go. Back to this one here. Oh, that was for the 6-pack. That was a good price. Dang, I may have to head to Walmart tomorrow. I got a Walmart list started. That was the 6-pack. It's probably, is it on sale? Was it just for a 1-day sale, or is it just something? Gallon canning. Sorry guys, I'm writing this down. At that price, that's a killer price. So everybody, get your half-gallon canning jars at Walmart. Hate not using. Yeah, so it's on sale this week, guys. Probably tomorrow's the last day for it. Oh, the 6-pack up in Canada was $30. Anthony, when you're canning, pressure canning, and you're canning meat and stuff, do you cook it first, like in your cast iron stuff, and make your stew or whatever, and then can your stew, whatever it is you're canning, pressure canning? Yeah, I've seen seen them in 4-packs and 6-packs for the half gallons. Oh, they've been at that price for 3 weeks. Okay, well, it was been about a month or so since I bought my some of the ones. I have to go back and check. Yeah, since the middle of February, Walmart has been out of the water bath canners. Online, everywhere. They've not been able to find them since February. Cool. Good to know, Anthony. All right. All right. I'm just catching up here on the side chat. Got good stuff here. Good advice there, Anthony. D-Mac. Hey, Dan. How's it going? I need to double check because I haven't seen any videos from you in a while. I may have been unsubscribed from you by you know who AI. Well, all right. I'm going to pull a will. Anybody out there that I know wants to come up and join me up here so I'm not up here by myself? Here is the link. You can come up here and join me. All right. Yeah, our last frost a couple weeks ago wiped out the tomatoes. Had to start over again, and hopefully we won't get another freeze. And the ones I got out there are going to do okay. Hey, Dan.
Hey, how's it going?
Now I can put us at a monitor. If I go up by myself, it takes up the whole screen, and everybody freaks out.
Sure. No, it's been a while since I've done any sort of online uh, uh, speaking at all. I've been ridiculously busy ever since this whole nonsense kind of kicked off a couple of months ago. So we had to kind of I've been working we've been working a lot here at the DMAC household. So
Yeah.
we were both blessed that we were able to maintain essentiality, I guess. Yeah, and and keep making money and keep doing our jobs and stuff. So
All right, here comes Anthony. Anthony's
yeah,
coming up
no,
here
life's been
too.
good.
Cool. All righty.
Oh, nice. Yeah, let's have a party.
Party.
What's going
Party
on, dude?
time.
Hey, look at that. You're growing yours out, and I just chopped mine off. So
Yeah, I decided I wanted to kind of thumb my nose at Hooples because he keeps saying that if I have a beard, I'm gonna die. So I'm testing it.
nice. No, mine. I chopped my beard off. I just had a day. Like I was like sitting there. I was eating breakfast with the kids, and the kid, like my 1-year-old, was like had been systematically removing my beard 4 strands at a time for the last year. And then like I was eating like pancakes and syrup, and like the beard got like the nose, the syrup. I was like, no. I ran upstairs, chopped it off.
Yeah.
Just couldn't take it.
I love my mustache and stuff, but sometimes it just gets too big, and when I trim it back a little bit, then it's too. My wife says it's too pokey. All right, now there's something we hadn't thought about here. What Hodak here said, getting extra rat bait, bug sprays, lice shampoos, stuff like that. That might be something else, everyone to think about having in their supplies.
That's and I'd like to think, I don't know how what kind of rule. I'm going to tread lightly because I don't want to say the wrong things. I don't know if there's any sort of censoring that I need to maintain here. And I don't know what your rules of engagement are here, Gil. So I don't know if you're certain buzzwords that
Yeah,
you're not wanting to say.
the only buzzword is we use Red Dragon instead of the name of what came out of
The
China.
the alcoholic beverage that we're all fighting at the moment. So
Yeah.
nice. All right, yeah. So ever since the Red Dragon kicked off, God, I forgot what I was just about to say. I mean, I had a really good thought that was about to come out, and then, anyways. So, yeah,
Squirrel.
onward and upward, right? So, yeah, exactly. No,
It'll
that's
come back
totally
soon.
what just happened. I was like, oh, yeah, it will. And by the way, I haven't spoken with you physically yet for a while, Anthony. Congrats on the exciting news. That's freaking awesome.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So, but so we're talking about stuff to gather or hoard or salvage or
Basically, the thing was, let me throw this back up here again. And so, there was top 5 items of salvage, and then I had some ground truths here. So basically, there's no government and no sign of local government either. It's like it's imploded. And whatever caused it, there's not going to be a quick recovery. It's going to take at least 10 plus years for a recovery to start. And right now, the day we're on, riots haven't started. And so we got like a day or 3 because everybody is hiding because whatever caused it, everyone's like, oh crap, we're hiding to see what's going on. They're waiting to see what happens. Of course, internet's down, no phones, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure.
And so
we just happened to have the secret squirrel happened to whisper in our ears that we need to go out and grab this because it ain't gonna rebound.
Yeah, it was
basically at all type of thing. So
it was basically something that the non-sheeple are going, oh, something's happening. Oh crud, this is it.
Yep. Everyone's yelling squirrel.
Toilet paper.
Trying to keep running, right? So
we all learned our lesson. Toilet paper.
If not so much for me. Realistic. Going in like a realistic direction. I honestly think like the number one thing that I would focus on, and then the number one thing would be medication and medical supplies, stuff that I don't have standard access to as a common folk civilian. So I'm gonna go get my hands on whatever prescription meds, this, that, whatever that I can get my hands on. Equipment, if I have to go raid an ER and take the whole ER to my house, cool, sweet, awesome. Because in 10 years, I'm going to want to have as much medical equipment as possible to be able to help manage medical needs for my community. Because the other stuff, realistically, after a year of grid down collapse, you're going to have figured out the food acquisition and your water acquisition at that point, whether it's you've got your gardens up and going, you've got your farms going, you've got your commune doing this, that, or whatever. So I'm not necessarily I'm not running out for food and water. That's like kind of the last thing on my list, but I've already done that. So I don't need to worry about that sort of stuff. We've got medical supplies and everything, obviously, but I don't have 10 years worth of antibiotics, prescription meds, this, that, or whatever that I might need. So that's going to be goal 1 for me. So,
speaking on the antibiotics, just to for everybody out there that hasn't seen Doc Bones and Nurse Amy on any of the lives, they're saying that on the testing of the pill antibiotics, that long time after they were, quote, expired, they were tested and they found they were still at 100% effective.
Oh, absolutely. The Navy, the Navy Corps guys, they test it offshore because they can't technically test it.
Okay.
Huh?
Anthony?
But one. Tetracycline, if used after it's expired, can be deadly. It can actually hurt you. So
Yeah.
doxycycline is fine. Tetracycline will damage your liver if it's past expiration.
And from my limited research, I have also been like, because I actually went to a Viking meeting and I don't know if it was Dr. Bones or Practitioner Bones or something. But we had a medical guy that came to one of our meetings, and he was telling us, and but dioxycycline, that's like as generic and as hard hitting, like it'll do you a lot of good. Like that's the one that's not like you're gonna have less reactions to that than some of the others that you would like the Cipros and the other type of stuff. So it's one of the safer, from what I've researched anyways. Don't take my medical experience that's very non-existent as any sort of professional guidance there, but that's the oxycycline is the one that I have acquired through the fish market type of stuff.
Now, one of the things,
because it has a long shelf life. But yeah, like the Navy, they did the testing on antibiotics like 20 years after the shelf life expired, and they're still good to go.
Yeah. Now the liquid ones, though, once you're past the quote expiration date, it goes down. But the dry powdered, tablets stayed good. But there was something about because of whatever they had in the liquids.
And this is obviously allegedly, because I'm not a professional, but allegedly, like the liquids, you'll be able to almost see it start to change. Like it will start to cloud up and stuff like that. Like it will, like you'll be able to physically see the breakdowns. Allegedly, like I said, I don't know for certain. This is just what I've read and what I've been told. So.
Yeah. All righty. Let's see what we got here.
So what else are we going to, Anthony? What's the number one thing you go run out and grab for your end of the world collapse?
After my current situation that I just dealt with, one thing I wanted to go ahead and share for those that don't know, when your wife gets pregnant, they go through toilet paper 3 times faster than they used to. So, let's just say,
did you not buy a bidet? Did you not buy a bidet sprayer? That was your number one fail right there.
Yeah.
That was like one of the best investments we ever made right there, man. So
I definitely learned that lesson the hard way. So what I thought was going to last a couple months ended up lasting a little bit less than that. I was almost in trouble. Luckily, I was good, but and now I can buy more again. But that's one thing I didn't really consider was the needs of a pregnant woman.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy because in my area, it's still almost impossible to find toilet paper on a regular basis. You're lucky if you find a 4-pack or a 6-pack here and there. It's 4 months it's been gone. It is what it is. Like, fortunately, we're good, and I've been able. I have the benefit. Like my job, I commute all over the city all day, every day. I drive 150 miles a day all over Greater Metro Atlanta. So I have I can go visit shop A, shop Q, shop 12. I have a lot of access to a lot of different places, and so I've been able to acquire the things that we need easy enough. But at the same time, we haven't really had to venture out a whole lot in the last couple of months because we were good to go. Like I had half of an elk and a deer in the freezer before this thing kicked off, and we're comfortably working through that at the moment. And, we picked up a half of a cow not too long ago. So like we're good. Like we're super good on the whole meat, protein, all that good stuff there. But I've been doing that for a while now. That we didn't start doing that just because it started getting weird outside. No, we've been living that way for the last couple of years. So, but toilet paper it didn't like catch us off guard, but it kind of caught us off guard a little bit.
Well, toilet paper though, I've known about what happens any type of disaster. Since 1971, when we were involved in the Silmar earthquake. I mean, the earthquake hit. It's like 3 or 4 days later. My mom goes to the store and there's no toilet paper in the store. And we weren't anywhere near the epicenter. And it's like, sewers are all working fine, people. Why are you all buying toilet paper? And then when the Northridge
Well,
earthquake
you kinda-
hit, same thing. And hurricanes, one of the things, Anthony, how often when you get a hurricane back there, does the toilet paper and water disappear?
Toilet paper. Well, not really say toilet paper. It's more water, bottled water, milk, and bread.
All right. But everything out here on the West Coast is first thing that goes is toilet paper.
Yeah, this is the first
you
time.
know why? You guys know why? You know why toilet paper goes so fast, right? You know why that's the first thing to go off the shelves, because it's the one of all of the products that you can find in a grocery store. Toilet paper is the one universal product that every human being uses on a daily basis. Everything else can be supplemented or changed or altered or this, that, or whatever. Everybody's got to wipe their ass.
And
that's why your toilet paper. That's why and that's why like the lanes where they have the toilet paper is the closest to the stock door, which is closest to the bays in the back for delivery, because it's the most frequently stocked item, because toilet paper takes up a lot of room on a truck but doesn't fill up the truck. Like a full 53-foot trailer with toilet paper only weighs like 20-something thousand pounds, whereas that guy can haul like 50,000 pounds of weight, because he can be 80,000 gross, but he's only going to be rolling at like 50,000 pounds. And so like, it's a dream freight for drivers to get, because they save on fuel. So they chase it down, but it's hard freight to sell, like, cause it's cheap. It's just, I worked logistics for a while, and toilet paper was a hard one to move because it's just not profitable. So.
Yeah. Well, right now it's profitable.
Oh, absolutely.
The price has gone up on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was the
case
that was the first
single janitor like sandpaper for like $40.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was funny was last month, Costco and a couple other stores put signs up saying you cannot return bottled water, toilet paper, and there were a couple other things on there, but bottled water and toilet paper were the first things in bold print, and they had some other ones in small print. You cannot return these.
I actually saw that at my Costco not too long ago either. Or saying I think they had all the hoarding items that people went out and bought and thought they were going to be able to resell, and then realized that they weren't going to be able to resell it. That's all like, nope, you can't bring it back. You got to keep it.
Let's see here.
Yeah, Anthony, bidet sprayer. I'm telling you, man.
Well, luckily,
go on Amazon right now. Go on Amazon right now. Click bidet. Hit order. Hit send. 2-day shipping. Your wife will.
Luckily, we're about over that.
Kiss the ground you walk on, man. So.
Luckily, we're about over that part now. Well, it's not for the fact that she keeps kicking her in the bladder, so she's got to go every 14.5 seconds. But
sure.
At the beginning, oh my gosh, it was like constantly. I'm like, okay, one roll is lasting like 3 days. This is insanity. Like, and I don't use it. Like, I use wet wipe. So I'm like, what are you doing? So, go figure. But that was a lesson learned, and now the next lesson I'm learning is munchy food or feel good food, morale food. It's cool when you got a whole pantry full of rice and beans and meats and canned stuff and all that good stuff. But when your wife's pregnant, she's shouting at you, "I want dill pickle chips." It's like, ugh.
It's so nice to have a bag of potato chips laying around to be able to give to the bear and say, "Here, bear, go away for a little bit."
One of the things that you're going to learn when the little one starts getting older is animal crackers, soda crackers, and those veggie veggie straws that are they'll eat the sea salt ones, but they'll prefer the ranch dressing veggie straws. And so ranch dressing on anything for kids works miracles. Do you make them happy and shut them up?
Well, if they take after their mother, then I'm gonna be cooking spicy stuff all the time. So
Oh, it's we cook spicy in our house all the time. Randomly. So my kid, my boy, he just turned 3 like a month ago, and my little baby, she just turned 1 last week. For my 3-year-old's birthday, it was the first time ever like that we gave him something other than water or milk to drink. Never given him juice, never had Gatorade, he's never had anything other than milk and water. And he does not like sugary beverages, dude. Like, it's awesome.
Really?
Like, we tried giving him juice and we tried giving him this, and he's like, nope, no thanks. And he's back on milk and water only. So, like, cool, sweet, milk and water. Which is, it makes the toothbrushing and the tooth decay a lot easier to manage, because he's like, we've been really blessed with that, man, because he eats healthier than I do. and my baby, she just eats, she's a little vacuum cleaner. She'll eat anything you put in front of her. So anyways, back to, squirrel tangent.
No, you're good.
I've got medical supplies. Anthony's got toilet paper.
Hey, Reed.
Oh, snap.
Send him a link. Tell him to click on it and get in here.
I'm going to put it up there right now again for him. Reed, we want you up here. Here you go.
Yeah, I'm kind of useless because I keep staring over at the pressure gauge to make sure that I'm not going below 11.
What are you pressuring right now?
I'm pressure canning venison spaghetti sauce.
Nice.
So I have 6 pints in there, and I got to go for 75 minutes. So
that sounds excellent. I bet that'll turn out beautifully. So one of these days, Anthony, it might be a little while from now, but once this stuff, like if this stuff ever settles down, we might have to have like a random incursion out by the state line or something. Like, 'cause I'm only like 3 hours from me, man. I'm not that far. It's really not that far. So
it's the most boring drive in the entire world. It's literally a straight line.
I don't know. You've never driven from Mobile to Montgomery, or you've never driven through Kansas, then I'm assuming, or you've never done Nebraska, because like
Nevada. Once you leave Reno and you're heading east, it's desert, nothing there, crosswinds, and you're just going and going, and then whoop, that was a little town. Whoop,
I would prefer that. I would prefer that to Kansas. Like, no offense to any of our Kansas brethren or sisters, but as soon as you leave Denver on I-70 and you're 1,600 miles away from St. Louis, and like it's pretty much flat and wheat for that 1,600 miles to St. Louis. The best part is like you'll see signs for like these towns in Kansas, and like, you following this sign, and it's been like 486 miles to, I forget the name, Salina, Kansas, 490 miles to Salina, 300 miles to Salina, 150 miles to Salina. You get to Salina, there is a truck stop and a hotel, and that is it. It's like, why the hell they're advertising this as their big city that you've been driving for the last 500 miles, and that's all they got to offer? Like, come on now. It's not even a headwind, it's a crosswind the whole time. You're driving uphill both ways in the wind. Surprisingly, I got better gas mileage driving over the Rockies than I do driving across Kansas. I lose almost 5 miles to gallon driving across Kansas versus driving through the Rockies. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. Whenever I drive back to California, driving through Nevada, it depends which way the wind's blowing, whether or not my gas gauge goes, or whether it just
exactly.
goes.
It's crazy to see how effective, like how much the wind will affect your miles per gallon like that. Like, you don't think about it until you do a 12-hour deadhead, and it's like, wow, I had to fill up 2 extra times during that freaking drive than normal,
All right, Reed doesn't have a webcam right now for some reason. He said some of his items he considers top salvage to salvage: aluminum foil, car air conditioning compressors and alternators, electrical and plumbing parts.
Yeah, I said plumbing parts earlier because that's the first thing
plumbing and
about
electrical stuff definitely big. So.
And Kaylin adds in, don't forget the vehicle batteries. Well, even when the batteries are totally dead, hey, you crack it open, and now you have lead to melt down to make bullets with.
And sulfuric acid to drink.
Yeah. There, Reed fires it up there too. Yep. But yeah, I had my number one item was seeds. Garden seeds. Hit all the places I can get garden seeds. Then try to get a.
See you later, Cecilia.
All right, Cecilia. Good night. Was to try to snag a couple of transport trailers of the diesel fuel, a couple of those tankers, because diesel fuel is safer than gasoline, obviously. But and there are some diesel generators around. But the next thing I was going to get was going to be hit a construction site and get a big Cat 966 or 977 articulating steering loader with the forks that go on the bucket. Then I can snag anything else. Then I can
give me an excavator or something. Yep. I'd love to have a
the rubber tired loaders that twist in the middle, the articulated steering ones. You can get a lot, especially with 966, or you find a 988. Shoot, man, you can just pick up trailers and just take off with the trailers.
See you later, Mary Beth.
All right,
give me a grading pan or something. Like it's been fun. That's I work construction. I work around construction now, and I've never done this before, so it's like all new to me, and it's been kind of exciting. So I like watching tractors do their things, man. It's fun.
I like.
Yeah, kerosene is also sometimes called number one diesel.
I like propane because propane stays.
Yeah, it doesn't go bad. As long as your tank doesn't leak, you're good. That was Will's number one thing was he would go grab a propane generator and then go swipe one of those big propane delivery trailers and park it in his yard.
The trailer idea would be nice. We actually have up at our cabin in the mountains here. We have a 16 kilowatt propane generator hooked up to the house because the whole house is on well water and propane, solar. It's an off the grid house type of thing. But it's so efficient, man. God, we only have to fill our propane tank maybe like twice a year. We fill it once a year right now because it just the cabin hadn't been used a whole lot in the last couple of years. But when it was getting heavy use, you're only filling it maybe 2 or 3 times a year. We weren't having to fill that often. And, you let solar do the majority of your work for you, and then propane for when you need like heavy startup or when it's dark and gloomy outside. So propane's a good one. So you can do a lot with propane.
Problem with the lids earlier for the last like 3 weeks. I couldn't find gamma lids, and I had a few, but I was trying to put sugar in a bucket, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to use one of these lids if I don't have to. And I finally found them today at Tractor Supply. So gamma lids were hard to find for some reason the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
it's because there's been a lot of people, man. So like we have I'm in Atlanta, so there's a lot of this, that, whatever, but there's been a crazy run on prepper supplies, dude. Like I go to, there's like a couple little prepper shops around the area that I go to like once a week to, or I had been. I don't go to there as frequently, but I still pop in at least once a month or so. They are,
hey, Mark.
everything is gone out of their stores, man. All the guns, all the ammunition, all the food, all the all it's all like Atlanta bought all the guns and all the ammo in March and April. That I worked at the largest gun store in the world, and I left right before the Red Dragon flew in. But I went and talked to my buddies that are still working at that gun store there. They were selling 600 to 700 guns a day out of that store. Think about that for just a split 700 guns a day walking out the door. Like, that's crazy. Like they sold trailers full of ammunition in the matter of a week and a half. He said it was a month and a half long of Black Fridays.
Yeah. So Martha said she got some at Home Depot a few days ago. You know, they had for $8.
The Lowe's and Home Depot here were out when I went, and it's like an hour away from me. So I mean, I can't go there like every day. And I finally came across one today over at Tractor Supply. It was the last one, of course. Go figure. So I was able to grab one, but yeah, gamma lids definitely were one of the things to go. So if you don't have them now, I definitely would load up if you get a chance.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I got about 8 ones that aren't in use yet out in the in my shop in a box. Of course, I also just picked up got a 10-pack of 5-gallon buckets.
Later, CR.
Used I have a few
CR.
gamma lids, but what I've done is like I have just standard buckets. Like a lot of my stuff is just in 5-gallon buckets with like just the press seal, like the pain in the ass lids. But I have like for each of the items that I keep in buckets, I have like the feed buckets, it has a gamma lid on it. It holds 50 pounds of feed. It screws on there. I keep one of those like for the beans. I keep one of those for the rice. I keep one of those for all the lentils, the other things that I use regularly that I go to, because it's the same, the equivalent of a gamma bucket right there. Just 3% fancier because I'm snobby. So but I actually bought like 5 to 10 of those recently at pet supply stores. And they're like maybe $15 for the bucket with the lid on it, or for the container with the lid. So it's a decent alternative to a 5-gallon bucket with a gamma lid if you can't go that route, and they stack nicely with each other. So so I keep the dog food in it, keep in one,
I would order on Chewy.com if you can read. If they have your food, order from Chewy, because that's the only place I can get my dog's food, because she has to use the Wellness brand. And I couldn't get it at PetSmart and whatever place I had to go to in town, so I had to order it on Chewy, and it's just 10 times easier to go that way. So
they don't have it at your Tractor Supply?
They don't carry well Tractor Supply.
Gotcha. Yeah, I do Natural Holistic, I think, is the brand that we use for our dog food. So
they my dog's got I call her Sensitive Sally. She's got a very sensitive stomach, so I have no choice but give her the high $70 a bag food, and it works for her. But
so is it like the salmon is like salmon based, fish based type of protein, or?
This one, since she's older, it's a senior dog food, so it's got that stuff, but it's a turkey barley mix.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So we got I think Reed's thing here.
I think pet food is one of those things that gets regularly overlooked during these situations, man. Like because I typically keep like about 100 pounds of dog food in supply. Man, the second that I heard that they were about to go and do a lockdown type of thing, I went out and bought another 100 pounds of dog food just to have it. Because I didn't realize, when the Red Dragon first flew into town, we didn't know how severe it was or wasn't, or how long our shelter in places may or may not have been. For all we knew, that that was what it was going to be for 6 months. and realistically, I think that it still kind of is that way. Like, I think people are starting to get a little bit lax because of their complacency. And that's kind of what scares me a little bit. Like it could be a minor thing and it could be a major thing, but I don't really want to tempt fate. That's why I wear a seatbelt when I get in my car. That's why I do, so I'm not too big to admit that I don't know what's going on. So I'm going to protect myself. I carry a firearm for a reason. I carry a flashlight for a reason. We're going to do the things that we can for a reason because we want to be prepared. And dog food was definitely one of those holes. It's not a hole of mine, but it was like that was one of the few things that I could see it was going to go quicker than anything else that I had stored up. So,
yeah, I'm got a question for you. Backing up here on that, that you said 50-pound container it has the gamma lid on the side. You pick those up where?
I got it just at my pet food store. Let me show you one real quick. Just a second. Quiet in the house. Just so you can see what I'm looking at. You have them at Costco, to be honest. I've seen a couple of them, but it's just like you got like this guy right here.
Okay, that type. All right. So that's actually what, like a 7-gallon or a 10-gallon?
And they have like all the. Yeah, it's a 7-gallon.
7-gallon.
But they have all different sizes. You can get them with. You can get them with either the tops coming straight out of the straight up or angled necks and stuff like that. And they're like $15-$20. They're really not that expensive. They're nice, heavy plastic. Like I've come on, puppy, let's go.
Yeah, I picked up.
Quiet right now.
Yeah, I picked up off of Amazon a 10-pack of 5-gallon buckets, black buckets, so the light doesn't get into them, and they were actually cheaper than the white buckets.
Nice. All right. So, what are some other things that I guess? So can I ask a couple? Like, obviously, we're on crazy tangents right now. We're not even close to our.
All right. So Martha says that her food one is angled and holds 50 gallons of dog food, or 50 gallons or 50 pounds dog food.
Probably pounds.
Yeah. Of course, keep my chicken food in a metal can.
Sorry, as you can see, the pressure canner.
Yeah.
So I am here. I'm just outside and it's dark. So
yeah.
Martha, I am canning venison spaghetti sauce.
All right. Yeah, 50 pounds. Yeah, Reed, that can be a problem. That's why you got to make sure whatever you store your ammo in, that it's easily movable by one person.
So that's one of those things that kind of I've had. So I keep all of my ammo in like ammo cans, like 30 cal ammo cans.
Yeah.
Because I can actually pick them up and move them. Because like a full 30 cal can's not that big. 50. I have a couple 50 cal cans, but mostly 30 cals. Like a full one of those, man. Like that's like a 30-pound brick right there. Like they're not light.
Yeah.
I made the mistake of I have like a big Pelican, and I was like, oh, I'll fill up this Pelican, right? 1600 Pelican 1600. It fits like 450 cal cans in it, and so I filled up like all 450 cal cans, stuffed it in there, and like I had to get a hand truck to move that suitcase, dude. Like, because I'm a small guy, I'm not really strong, I'm not big. Like Anthony could have picked it up and hooked it, no problem. But I weigh 155 pounds on a wet day when I've eaten a lot, so.
Yeah, I'm 245. I'm a big guy.
Jesus, man, that's like almost Tubi. What's up, buddy? What do you hear? What do you hear?
Yeah,
What do you hear?
Yeah.
Sorry,
All right.
I'm starting to get a little.
Yeah. BB's in
Puppy's getting pokey. No, so the question that I wanted to ask you guys is, what are some of the things that you went out and started prepping when you realized that the red dragon was flying into town? Like, what were the holes that you found that you ran out and had to fill?
Stuff for the grandkids.
Meat were my big one, and I'm not talking about like I had a whole bunch of ground meats and stuff like that, but I wanted like the good cuts, the big things that I could make for one day and eat off of for like 5 days. So I had to go get a whole bunch of roasts and butts and stuff.
I actually had to do the same thing, yeah, because I had plenty of ground, but I did not have a whole lot of heavy cuts. So,
bunch of ground meats. We had a whole bunch of cube steak and and chicken breasts, but I didn't have very many roasts at all. And I like, especially when I'm busy outside like I am now all day with the garden and the property, it's nice to be able to come inside and put something low and slow for a couple hours, and I can go back outside and do what I got to do.
Yeah, being up here, what my situation is, my wife's still in California, so I'm not getting, and I don't want to intrude upon my daughter and her husband family down in their kitchen. So I got a microwave up here. So it's like right now, I get the big bag of meatballs at Sam's Club, and the frozen burritos, and
those meatballs. If you like, a really good thing I like to make with those meatballs is I will make a stroganoff. Basically, all I do is just chop up a few mushrooms, get some cream, cook the meatballs up, and I got me a good stroganoff.
Yeah. But I got different types of barbecue sauce to dip them in and stuff like that. And then I got in the freezer down there. I got one of those big cases of beef hot dogs from Sam's Club as backup. And that's all. That's one of my chest freezers. But it's just because basically I wasn't stocking up on food here because I was traveling back and forth so much. And this winter I was staying up here, so I started getting some stuff here. But when I get my finished doing the RV trailer pad, get the concrete poured, to get my RV trailer moved onto it, then I'm out into there, and I got 4-burner stove, and I can actually start cooking again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, my wife's she's been put on bed rest because she's very high risk in this pregnancy. So I've been having to do like everything, and I'll tell you what, it's really showing me the lack of time I truly have when you actually got to handle things outside, inside, and deal with some, having to help
when
somebody.
you have to do it by yourself. Yeah, when you have to do it by yourself, it takes forever.
I've been literally on the move since 10 o'clock this morning, and it's midnight, and I'm still canning. Like, it's just, it never ends.
Yeah. Let's read saying here. He didn't have any. Okay. He didn't have any holes in supplies. There's a lack of time, helping people and spending massive amount of time at work, and he also ran into communication issues. Yeah. Okay. Kaylin added more dish soap and hygiene.
I burned through a lot of PPE that I had. I'll tell you that. Like, I went through a lot of my masks and gloves in that first month. Not knowing, like every time because like I said, I have to drive 150 miles a day, 200 miles a day every day for work. And being a construction site inspector, all the local issuing authorities stopped doing code inspections
Mhm.
So they left it up to third-party engineering companies like us to go out there and do it. And governor signed an executive order deeming residential construction essential. So all the construction workers started building. Like it was the last 3 months have been the golden era of building in Atlanta for residential construction because people have been able to just do shit that they weren't able to do because of government oversight for the last 2 months. Like that, I've got, and it's crazy. Like like one of the big construction companies that I subcontract through, they typically sell about 125 to 200 house or 125, 150 houses a month. Last month they sold 255, and this month they're projected to sell 300 house. Like they've doubled their business in the last 2 months and a half during this nonsense going on. So it's like we've just been I've been on the stop go, but like because of that I've been for the first month I was like wearing gloves and a mask every time I walk into a gas station, this or whatever. And obviously if you're going to go through proper decontamination protocols, this or whatever, like that's a one-time use mask and a one-time type of stuff, and then you got to do all the the whatever. It's like because I realistically didn't know how serious this was or wasn't. So we went into like protect yourself, lock it down, and I went into pandemic mode, man. So
one of the things I'm still looking at, possibly getting is one of those little I don't know what it's called. Basically, it's like a little toaster oven, but it has the UV light in there and the O2 generator. And
oh yeah, the my dad has one of those. He only paid like $150 for it.
yeah,
That thing is amazing, dude. Like it's like the plasma ozone generator
yeah.
guy there. So
So you can just toss your mask in there, and for 15 minutes, and the it has the germicidal UV light at the proper setting and everything else, and is a 254 nanometers, and kills all the bugs on it, and so that way you can use your mask several times. You just bring toss wear several masks, have a bag, you toss them in the bag at work, get home, you toss them all in there, and you're good for the next day.
so one of the things that I got really lucky with, because like as soon as I heard that the Red Dragon was breaching the walls of Wuhan, before we saw any sort of like travel bans put in place here, this is back in February. As soon as I saw that happening, I instantly went down to my Granger
Mm-hmm.
and I bought a case of filters for my respirator mat, like for my half mask, like because
Mm-hmm.
I crawl around under dirty, mold ridden and foundations and stuff all the time. So like I need to have PPE regularly for work. So I went out and bought like every single cartridge I could find for my half mask, and they're now like that's like one of those impossible to find items at the moment. Like you're not going to find a filter, an N100 filter for a Honeywell or a 3M respirator for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
I can guarantee that, unless you pay, gouge prices on Amazon or eBay for it, type of thing. So.
Yeah, that's a good point, Reed. A lot of people didn't pay attention to the fact that this hit people mentally. Depression is a big deal, and people don't want to help themselves, let alone help their own family. And you kind of got to be the motivator for them, just so they can kind of keep going forward. A lot of people are intro or extroverts, and they need that physical, being in the same room with somebody else, and not having that kind of made a lot of people go crazy.
Well, and the other thing that
all the time on YouTube and Facebook, everybody started being doing lives on YouTube, and all their Facebook time is just through the roof.
So one of the things that I'm noticing right now, because we're a couple months into this whatever it is that we're dealing with, and it plays on that point that you and Anthony, that you and Reed are talking about, how you have to be the motivating force because of the depression setting in. The thing that I'm recognizing is like I'm not trying to like talk people into like getting out there and exposing themselves or putting themselves in harm's way, but like my mom, my mother-in-law, the father-in-law, like the people that would be potentially vulnerable, like that have been on lockdown, shut it down, don't want to be out and about at all, like getting them to even want to like walk out their front door to go get the mail has been a chore, because like they were, like just this hue of fear was installed into the hearts of America and the hearts of the world. Whether it was rightfully so or not is to be determined, but like people are like there's a lot of people that don't have the mindsets that we have that are freaking the freak out right now. And so like exactly, like we need to be that motivating force that keeps the ball moving down the field.
You ain't joking, Reed. Big echo chamber. A lot of people are shouting. Yay!
Oh, we hit a 12. We hit a 12.
I can finally turn off the pressure canner. One of those things that a lot of people don't do, but I do, is they walk away from the pressure canner. And with an electric stovetop, you never want to do that.
Yeah, because that's a bomb sitting in your house right there, man.
Basically. And as you can see, I keep going because my electric burner, when it gets up to pressure, I keep it between 2 and 3, and it just keeps on moving between 11 and 12 psi. If I walk away, it's going to keep going to 12, 13, 14. So that's why I got to keep moving it up and down just to make sure that it stays in that nice little zone. So if you start pressure canning, just make sure you never walk away from it, if I can give anybody some advice.
Oh, absolutely, man. Come on, that's what was used in, like, I think the Boston Marathon bombing, wasn't that pressure cooker bomb?
Mm-hmm.
It's not that hard. It's not that hard to make it happen, man. Like it's scary how dangerous those things can be.
Well, luckily this one is a Presto, so it's got the little relief plug on top. So if it's like a weird chance it went to 20 psi, it would blow the plug out. But still, I don't like to walk away from the fact I know I have an issue if I did. Not to mention, if it drops below 11 psi, you're gonna have to redo it all over again. I'm not playing that game.
Yeah.
I sat here for 5 minutes watching this canner. I'm not gonna walk away for 5 minutes and it goes below 10 psi and I gotta redo
it for another hour and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, so just make sure. And by the way, I'm not trying to scare anybody about pressure canners or anything like that. Like, it's really, really easy. Literally, like as you can see, I've just been sitting here talking while it's been going. You just got to keep an eye on it. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But I highly suggest if you are if you do want to get serious about preserving your own food, I mean, learning how to can, learning how to ferment. And Martha, I'm definitely going to be, probably a worm in your ear about that fermenting, because I would really like to learn more about how to do it. Do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, if you want to get into food preservation, pressure canning is definitely something I highly suggest everybody jump into. Not to mention, if you buy a pressure canner, you can hot water bath can in it, but you can't do vice versa. So instead of having to buy 2 different canners, just buy the pressure canner and then water bath can most of your stuff. And then if you need to, you can use the pressure. You can put the lid on it and call it a day.
Mm-hmm. Did the pressure canner come with the water bath stuff for it as well, or did you have to buy the screen thing? The rack separately.
As long as you have it where the it's not resting directly on the bottom, and they all should come with a little plate, a metal plate on the bottom, so at least like a little buffer. You just get this thing right here from a ball canning kit and lower your in there, and as long as there's an inch water over top of the jar, you can hot water bath anything. Just make sure that something that you can hot water bath, like something high acid or vinegar. Don't try to play the beans and potatoes and meats game in a hot water bath, because you're gonna get very sick.
Yeah, you stick to like peaches, pears, and tomato sauce and stuff like that.
Yeah, you definitely want to make sure that you're also paying attention to where you live if you're pressure canning, because if you have any kind of altitude, you're going to have to adjust that pressure accordingly. Since I live at, basically sea level, like 600 feet above sea level, it's not really that big of a deal. But if you're like over 1,000, then you increase it to like 12 or 13, and then over 2,000, 15, and so on and so forth. So just keep that part in mind.
All right, just checking on some of the stuff here.
Yeah, but I know, I've seen people pressure can in a Instapot. I've never done it before personally, but I spent the $80 on this pressure can, and I've literally used it like all summer this year and last year. So
Yeah,
So
we'll
how are
get,
your gardens doing, Anthony?
about as good as it can be right now. I just harvested my garlic today. That was pretty cool.
It's been an interesting rain season, that's for sure. So
that's what kind of hurt me, because all the rain made my potatoes get blight, and then we just had these last couple storms come through that had like the highest winds ever, so they blew everything over. So that's why I had to pull the garlic up, because the garlic was laying over the side like this. So I was like, well, fair enough. I guess I'm harvesting my garlic today.
yeah, we've had that last band of storms that just came through the beginning of this week. Holy cow, man!
Mm-hmm. That got me too.
Yep.
Yeah, honestly, Kathy, I prefer to pressure can more than hot water bath. Only thing a hot water bath anymore is preserves or jams. Everything else, I'll pressure can it because it's easier, in my opinion. You don't got to do all that whole cleaning everything. Like if you're doing a hot water bath, you got to make sure your jars are sterilized. You got to make sure your lids are sterilized, and your whole kitchen sterilized and that kind of stuff. When you're pressure canning, it gets above 240 degrees, so it kills everything. So you don't work with
yeah, Anthony.
It's not an
Thomas
early
Smith is on.
I was hoping it was going to go till the end of June, but I ended up harvesting it maybe 2 weeks early. I still got some pretty decent bulbs. They're hanging in the garage right now curing, but they're, if I had your phone number, I'd text you a picture of it, but it's pretty decent size. They're not elephant garlic like yours, but they're big enough. Yeah, that's a big thing, Kathy. Pressure canning, it definitely, since you have the lid on it, it definitely cools the house down a lot more than hot water bath canning. That thing will heat the house up in a jiffy. That's why another reason why I'm doing it now at midnight. So the fact that I am heating the house up is not too bad in comparison to the middle of the day, because canning definitely heats the house up for those that have never done it. But for those that also don't know, hot water bath canning, the reason why it works is because there's acid in the food. So like tomatoes, peaches, whatever that has fruits, they have acid in them. So it keeps the botulism in check. If you have low acid foods, you have to use pressure. And the reason why pressure works is because
No, hang on.
Okay. The reason why pressure canning works is because it's 240 degrees, and that essentially kills botulism. So that's basically sterilized within itself, so you don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
The more you know.
Yeah. All right, guys. Oh, we're coming up on 2.5 hours here.
Yeah, man. I got some cleaning up to do, so. Yeah.
All righty. So just let everybody know that Tuesday night for Tactical Tuesday, there's really no topic other than it's my 1-year anniversary on YouTube.
Nice.
And I'm still trying to get a hold of Doc Bones and Nurse Amy, see if I can get them to come on. So, all righty. We will see you all next week. And everyone, if you don't have a garden in yet, please put one in. If you do have a garden in and you can, try expanding it a little bit. Because I have a feeling this fall is going to be ugly.
You never know, but hey, thanks for having me on, Gil. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks for coming up here, both of you.
It's been a good time. So,
all righty, guys. See you
Later,
around, and be safe, be happy, stay prepared.